The wait is over as the Commanders and star wide receiver Terry McLaurin have reached a new deal, and we're breaking it all down on Command Center.
The work ethic is something that I've always prided myself in, and no matter what the opportunity I had in front of me, I knew I wanted to be prepared for those moments by putting the work in when nobody else was watching.
The ink is still fresh, but Terry knows there is plenty of work to be done as we sit down with the captain after signing his contract. And now that it is done, what is next for Terry and the Commanders offense? We preview what to expect on the field this upcoming season. And we send Logan, Paulsen and Santana into the film room to break down the best aspects of Terry's game. And after years of terrorizing opposing defenses, what are the top plays from Scary Terry's young career? We find out next on Command Center. And welcome on into Command Center. Julie Donaldson joined by the legendary Gary Clark. So nice to have you on here. And of course, if we're talking about Terry McLaurin, the wait being over, the contract finally being signed, we had to bring you in for this one. Initial reaction and thoughts to Terry finally knowing he's going to stick around.
Well, this is such good news for the Commanders. Terry's going to be here. He literally is one of the best receivers in the league. He's definitely the best receiver here for the Commanders. And I'm so excited that they have him. I hope he's here for life, quite honestly. I hope he becomes another Art Monk, where he's here for his whole career for the most part. And that would be just fabulous for us.
Well, so far he will be here through at least 2025. Terry McLaurin signing his contract as a Commander. So far in his first 3 seasons in Washington, the team captain has recorded over 3,000 yards and 16 touchdowns on 222 career receptions, quickly putting his name in the conversation for one of the top wide receivers in the league, as Gary just said. But if you ask Terry, well, there is still plenty of work left to be done. Terry, I see that smile. How's it feel? I mean, you just finally inked the deal. I'm sure this is something that you dream. I mean, you dream to get in the NFL, but you also want to get that contract.
Yeah, it's super exciting to kind of have this culmination to come here and sign my extension to stay with this team that drafted me. That kind of initiated my dream of just being in the NFL, and I remember getting here and just being so happy to be in the opportunity that I had. God's blessed me with so many great opportunities and just the ability that I have, and to come here and sign that contract and make things official, to stay here as one of the leaders of this team and just so many goals we have going forward is really exciting to share this moment with my family, my girlfriend, and my agent. So it's been really an exciting day, and this smile may not wipe off for a little bit.
It shouldn't. It's great. It's, you talk about your God-given abilities, but let's not deny the fact that you've worked really hard for this too. Definitely. There's a lot of aspects of your game that are earned throughout that as well. Where do you feel that your game most, because you get paid for what you did, where do you feel your game really kind of in that work paid off to where you're at today?
I think honestly, just my ability to be able to increase my ball skills. I think that was something that was really a point of emphasis in college. And I remember just being in the indoor at Ohio State and trying to create different drills to try to increase my ball skills, whether it's contested catches or just catching the ball in a way that was cleaner, and just it gave me the best ability to do something with the ball as soon as I got it. And now just to see my drop percentage is really low and my contested catches led the league. And that's just a testament to the hard work that I was trying to put in during that time. And you really never know at the time when that's going to show up and when you're going to need it most. So it just makes me want to continue to try to improve on the weaknesses I may have in my game and then continue to make my strengths even stronger. So the work ethic is something that I've always prided myself in. And no matter what the opportunity I had in front of me, I knew I wanted to be prepared for those moments by putting the work in when nobody else was watching.
So you talk about your hands kind of and the ability to do that, but does that still resonate with you when Ohio State said that's something we want you to work on? Is that something that still impacts you today?
Definitely. I think I'm always trying to analyze my game and see where I can see improvements. And I think that the time you get complacency in this league is the kind of when you get passed by. And so I'm always looking to try to stay on top of my game, whether it's my route running, my releases. It was something that was very big in last offseason that I wanted to improve on. And so it's just things that I always want to continue to focus on in my game that can keep me at the top of my level and continue to compete, to be my best for this team and one of the best receivers in this league.
Well, it's hard to miss the impact Terry McLaurin has had in his brief time here in Washington. Factor in the number of different quarterbacks that he's had to lean on and work with. It makes the numbers even more impressive. Through his first 3 seasons, Terry only trails Gary Clark in total receiving yards. Both are only 2 players to eclipse 3,000 yards through their first 3 seasons in franchise history. So, Gary, since we have you here now, how does that make you feel? I mean, you held this record for just a few years.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait until Terry breaks, for the 4th year, the 5th year, the 6th year, 7th year, 8th year, just because the quality of man this person is, it's something that's been missing from his formula for a while. And I'm glad to see that we have it now, at least to 2025. And it's nice, so we're going to start seeing some playoff runs in between that time because you have his consistency and his permanency here.
He gets his contract because of the work that he's done through those first 3 years, for those numbers that he has put up. But the big question is now, what comes next? What comes in year 4, and year 5, and year 6 as he lives out this contract?
Playoff win, playoff championship.
But how much can he control that?
Well, leadership has a lot to do with it, and getting people around you that you get performance out of. And after speaking with him today, I understand that he can bring that performance out of his teammates. And that's important to be able to get performances out of your teammates that sometimes coaches just can't get because they're not a player. A player can get performances out of their teammates that sometimes coaches just can't get.
You want to get to the postseason, of course, and be able to perform when you are in those big moments. Is there a part of his game, though, that you say, okay, this is where the next growth may come? He talks a lot about how he has those great hands, which, of course, he had to really work on to be able to take a weakness into a strength for him. Where do you see his game can be elevated?
I tell you what, for the most part, his game is solid. It's solid. It's the other parts of the puzzles that now have to come into play, because football is a team sport. It will always be a team sport, and you always need all those different components. I need my defense to play great. I need my offense to play great. I need my offensive line to block for my quarterback, because I don't care how good my quarterback is. If my offensive line don't block for them, you never know how great they are. So it becomes all those components come into place. But what I can tell you, his piece of the puzzle is going to be in place.
He's the kind of guy that will go out and not rest on his laurels at all. He's going to want to make sure he proves everything. How can Carson Wentz maybe even get more out of him that we haven't seen?
Well, just about working with him more on an everyday basis. Now is the time that now that he's signed, now that he's fully a commander, that he can take time with Carson to get that understanding that when something breaks down, I'm going to do this to make it open again. And once they have that information between one another, then they have that chemistry.
And Carson has the arm to be able to stretch the field as well. So let's see Terry get out there on the run. It's going to be exciting. And of course, we know Terry's going to be here for the foreseeable future. Now, if we talk about Terry McLaurin's numbers, well, he's had 3 straight seasons in which he led Washington in receiving. The last Commanders player to lead the team in receiving yards for 3 straight seasons, well, that would be Santana Moss, as he led the team in receiving yards for 6 straight from 2005 to 2010. Now, Terry's teammates took to social media as they are loving the news as well. Safety Jeremy Reeves saying, yeah, worth every penny, or millions that are out there. And Jonathan Allen signed his extension last offseason, tweeted, congratulations, Terry deserves nothing less. And running back Antonio Gibson, well, he's just kind of happy he doesn't have to answer this question anymore on when is Terry going to get paid. Of course, it is a team game, and every player out there makes the game better. Still to come here on Command Center, we've got more Terry content for you coming up, including a look at the top plays from his career, find out if your favorites make the cut. And we are sending Logan, Paulsen, and Santana Moss into the film room to break down the best elements of Terry's game and show us why he is worth every one of those pennies.
This is Terry McLaurin, and you're watching Command Center.
Breaking news in my ear. Scary Terry has signed with the Commanders.
3-year extension worth up to $70 million.
Let's go! Unbelievable! Comes up with it! Touchdown! Killing catch by McLaurin.
He is fast. He's got good hands.
Oh my God, he different.
When that ball goes in the air and it's a tough catch that needs to be made, Terry McLaurin's going to make it.
Since entering the league in 2019, Terry McLaurin has put the league on notice. In his very first game, he had 125 yards and a touchdown against the Eagles. And since then, he's amassed over 3,000 receiving yards on 222 receptions with 16 TDs. That earned him the name Scary Terry. But the scariest part about it is, where does he take his game next? Well, we've sent Santana and Logan Paulsen into the film room.
Tana, so glad this man is back. What does he mean for this team, having Terry McLaurin back on the side?
He means everything. You know, one of the things that Ron talks about is having those younger guys, mature a little bit. Yeah. We have a guy that we drafted that we saw him mature each year. Yeah. Last year, he put up one of those years that now you can actually argue, is he one of the better receivers in this league? So it's great to see a guy like that back.
And you got to reward the guys that play well for you. And again, the leadership, the toughness, all that stuff, in addition to what he puts on film. So let's take a look at that real quick. Let's take a tape. So Terry's down here at the bottom. And this is something I think is underrated. He's going to run this nice corner and go. And the ball's a little late getting there. You know what I mean? Taylor gets some pressure. But what I think he does really well, better than almost any other receiver in the league at this moment, is these crazy circus, adjusting for the ball in the air, competing for the football. How tough is that?
I mean, it's very tough. Those are contested catches. Those are 50-50 balls. A guy of his stature you don't normally see come down with many, but he's shown you time and time again, you just put it up in his area, he's going to make it.
And he does it all the time. He does it here on this deep ball. And again, so I went and watched A.J. Brown. I went and watched CeeDee Lamb. And he catches the football, Terry does, better than those guys. And I think that's, check this right out here. He's going to come across the formation up top into your screen. This guy's hanging all over him. Yeah. That's excellent concentration. He got to give a little flex to the crowd. Love that. Another thing he does really well, Tana, is he runs great routes.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
And I think he's got great vertical speed. But talk about this right here against Bradbury, who's one of the best corners in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is one of those routes where he showed the guy like he was going. I used to give a guy something more on top of my stems, and right here you can count this as, or call this a comeback or a flat, corner route or out. And he gave him something inside to get Bradbury to turn his hips, and then he came out and he gave the quarterback a wide open area where he can throw the ball to me. Just pin the ball on me or lead me down the path.
Yeah, and I also love that. Watch how the DB has to respect that speed. He's able to hit that cut going full speed. Love that. Again, easy catch here for him because he's so good at the contested catches. And again, this stem, he's going to stem out or a little out and up. And this route probably looks something like this on paper, but he puts his own little flavor on it.
Got to.
And you love when guys do that, when they get creative with running routes here, a little out, lazy up, and gets that guy out.
See, when you have that kind of speed, you can play with defensive backs like that. And that's one of the things that we talked about now, having a guy that can really get the ball and threaten that defensive back downfield. You're going to see a lot of these guys getting back deeper because they know the potential that the quarterbacks are going to bring with a guy that's fast like Terry.
Yes, and again, we talked about his physicality at the catch point. He's also physical when he runs routes too. So here he is, Lattimore, who again, a guy I have a ton of respect for. Very physical. Him and Mike Evans getting fights every single game. Watch him with this subtle double stick, get the guy turned, beats his leverage, and then physical at the top to create that separation. Again, not a big man, but gets that done.
Yeah, he just make it happen, man. He's right now you're seeing a guy that just basically he's in his head, he's in the defensive back's heads, he's in his pocket, or you call it in his bag. He's just coming up to the line of scrimmage and just winning, man. That's one of the things Terry's been doing. He's been in his bag for the last few years, just winning every time he get an opponent in front of him.
And you talked about the vertical speed, and he's right here at the bottom, and I don't see this very often, even from really fast guys just walking off on people. And imagine if that ball's put out in front.
Fly by.
Right? And check this out right here. Watch him right here. Look at him. This is Darius Slay. Again, an outstanding quarterback in the NFL. And it's like he's standing still. You don't see that happen. And what does Carson Wentz do for him?
Oh, my God.
Have the ability to push the ball down the field.
Well, first of all, I think one of the things that Carson Wentz is going to bring is the threat of that. So the defensive backs are going to play a little more honest. They're going to back up, knowing you have a guy like Terry back there. So we might see a lot of Terry's work done inside, underneath, you know what I mean? But when you want to get caught snoozing and you want to bring those safeties up, and knowing Terry can go up with the best of them, man, trust me, he's going to have a lot of those deep passes in store for him this season.
Absolutely. And this is another thing Terry does so well. And you mentioned this. He's a special teams guy. He's a tough guy.
Yeah.
That's a safety. This is usually a mismatch in the run game. I love it when receivers block.
Gotta get big.
Gotta get big. I love it.
Flat bag of Hasby, how y'all call it?
I love that because it shows that football is important to him. Football is important to him. When you give a guy that kind of money, you want to see this kind of play from him.
He's a football player. He's not just a receiver.
And then, Tana, we talked about this off. This is my favorite play of last season, not even of Terry's. And again, it shows everything he is. He's tough, he's physical at the catch point, he's got big playability. This is 3rd and short, game is on the line. They isolate him here, get him the football. Watch this slant here, not the cleanest slant in the whole world, but holy cow, look at this, like, bam.
Well, Terry just showing these guys, man, look, I come to work every day.
Yep.
I bring my lunch and my hard hat. I ate my lunch already, so now I'm giving you my hard hat, man, and that's what he does.
And it's so nice to have a guy with that character, with that physical skill set back here in Washington. I mean, so happy to have him back.
Welcome back, buddy.
Still to come, Terry McLaurin has had some memorable plays during his time here in D.C. But which one is tops on our list? Find out when we return to Command Center. And Commanders Training Camp is coming up July 27th through August 18th. Camp will be held at the park out in Ashburn, Virginia, and fans can enter a lottery for a chance to win tickets to come out and watch practice. The team will also hold an open practice at FedEx Field for any fans who want to check that out for free tickets. And more information, head on over to commanders.com/training camp. Welcome back. We are continuing to see more and more reactions on the Terry McLaurin extension news. Captain America gift seems to be fitting following the 4th of July weekend. And one fan tweeting, no better time for that new Terry McLaurin jersey. Go out and get those. And another fan predicting a big year for Terry. We hope so. We cannot wait to see him take the field. Now, if you were questioning whether or not Terry is worth all that money, well, here's a look at how money was last season when it comes to contested catches. According to Pro Football Focus, Terry's 25 contested catches were tops in the NFL, 3 more than the next closest, which was Mike Williams from the LA Chargers. And an interesting note here, he's the only NFC player to the top 10 in contested catches last season. Talk about making a weakness of his hands into a strength. Here's a look back at some of the best moments from Terry's career so far.
Haskins fires, end zone, what a catch by Terry McLaurin. I'm not sure how right-handed makes this catch with his left hand. Watch this catch. Oh my God. What a great catch by Terry McLaurin.
3rd and 5 at the 45. Heineke's going deep. He got a flag looking for McLaurin. That one is caught by McLaurin out of bounds. Did they say he got his legs in?
No, he's in. That's the catch.
At the 10-yard line. Unbelievable catch by McLaurin.
Watch this catch. I mean, watch this concentration. Right through the hands. Spectacular job. Now,
Jay, how did he
there's the
make
catch.
that catch?
There's the hip. The hip is down. He's inbounds.
Edom's going to go deep, and he's got a man, McLaurin, who makes the catch in open field, and he's gone. A bomb to the rookie, Terry McLaurin, all the way for 70.
Play action. Runs out of time with Fowler, who's grabbing him, gets out of his tackle, throws it towards the center of the end zone. There's a fight for the ball, and McLaurin comes up with it. Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington! What a play by Terry McLaurin!
I mean, Heineke escapes the tackle. You think he's down. Terry McLaurin looks covered, but oh my goodness.
2nd and 6 to the end zone, and looking for the rookie and finding him. Terry McLaurin.
Just watch how strong his hands are. Buster Screen has outside leverage. He throws it inside. A contested catch. Look at that, a rookie. Look, he's got an arm on him. Look at the contest.
Firing downfield, and McLaurin makes the catch. Holy cow, what a catch. With Marcus May defending, McLaurin makes a spectacular catch, 42 yards. Marcus May is saying this is an interception, and Terry McLaurin is saying, and not quite. Oh, man. This kid is special. I mean, he is really a special player.
Down to the throw. Lofting one. He's got a man. It's McLaurin in stride. Touchdown, Washington.
You see somebody beyond a defender with that much separation, and you think it had to be a double move. I don't know what Trayvon Diggs was sitting on, but Terry McLaurin just ran right past him.
1st and 10 at the 32. Play action for Smith. Steps up, throws over the middle of the field, finds McLaurin, who cuts through a tackle at the 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington!
Okay, Captain.
You watch the Giants secondary. They're there. They could make the play. Isaac Yiadom misses. Logan Ryan misses. And Terry McLaurin off to the races for the touchdown.
play action now. Smith looking deep over the middle of the field for Terry McLaurin. Single coverage, makes the catch. The 20-yard line brought down there. Huge play, Smith to McLaurin.
Oh,
and
Terry.
that's all I've been asking for.
Yep.
Is that too much to ask?
Oh my God, he different. He different.
You have your best football player in a one-on-one. I bet you'll take those odds any day of the week.
Taking a look at the numbers, yes, it's impressive because we know your numbers are impressive. The fact that he's coming close to that. But is there a part of his game that you would say maybe is more underrated at all?
I think he's been underrated, quite honestly. He's been underrated the 3 years that he's been here, and I have no clue why. He's definitely one of the top receivers in the league, one of the top 10 receivers in the whole NFL, without a doubt. And I think because he's so quiet, he lets his play does the action. He reminds me like Art Monk. He lets his play does the action. That's why he hasn't been voted to Pro Bowls yet. But that'll come over time.
I tend to think maybe it's because he's not a showboater. He's not a very loud guy. You don't see him talking a lot. He just kind of lets his work on the field do that. And of course, we know Pro Bowl's a popularity contest. Have no doubt he will get there. Look, had 1,000 yards last season. Will he get there this season again?
Yeah, yes, he will. He's definitely. He's going to have, from an offensive standpoint, 3 receivers that are going to be put it out there. The young boy coming in. He's going to take some pressure off of him. Where right now he has to do everything. When pressure gets divided among 3, you can't double team everybody.
We know the play in the past was always get the ball into Terry McLaurin's hands, and now they will have plenty of options to see how to spread that ball around, which should equal more success for Terry as well. Hey, that's going to do it for this Command Center, a Terry McLaurin special. Thanks so much to the legendary Gary Clark for coming on in. We'll see you next time.